All right, so line 3, who may ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who may stand in his holy place? So a couple of questions there, and then he's answering them. He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul to an idol, nor sworn deceitfully, he shall receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation. This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek him, who seek your face, Selah. And so in that stanza, has a few lines in it. And so and it gives a reference scripture to Psalm 15, lines 1 through 5. And we already covered that already in detail. So it says, who may ascend into the hill of the Lord, or into his Mount Zion. And so he's saying that it says, Lord, who may abide in your tabernacle, or sojourn in your tabernacle, who may dwell in your holy hill. So it's asking the same question. He who walks uprightly and works righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart. He who does not backbite with his tongue, nor does evil to his neighbor, nor does he take up a reproach against his friend, and whose eyes a vile person is despised, but he honors those who fear the Lord. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change. He who does not put out his money at usury, nor does he take a bribe against the innocent. And so we covered, those lines in detail. And so, but it just referred back to that. Now, and that was line 3. Line 4 says, he who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul to an idol, nor sworn deceitfully. So we're going to look at Job 17:9. Job 17:9. That says, yet the righteous will hold to his way, and he who has clean hands will be stronger and stronger. All right, so now let me be sure covered that. All right, good. All right, so we keep hearing about these clean hands. So let's go to Matthew 5:8. Matthew 5:8. Right, that says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. All right, so in order for us to see God, we have to be pure in heart. And so what David is telling us is that who may ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who may stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. And so, and Jesus himself has said that blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. All right, now, check this out. What is he talking about with clean hands? Is he talking about washing your hands? That what that means? Clean hands? Because if that's what he's talking about, clean hands, pure heart, what he's really talking about is those hands not being quick to do anything wicked, not shedding and using these hands to shed innocent blood, or to hurt or harm anybody with these hands. All right, not just washing your hands, because if we look in Matthew 15, it says that it was a debate over tradition. And so look at Matthew chapter 15, verse 1. It says, and the scribes and Pharisees who were from Jerusalem came to Jesus saying, why do your disciples transgress the tradition, tradition of the elders, for they do not wash their hands when they eat bread. So when you wash your hands are clean. But what is David saying in Psalm 24 about maintaining those clean hands? And so what Jesus said, but he answered and said to them, why do you also transgress the commandment of God because of your traditions, your tradition? And then so he goes on to give how they manipulated even the commandment, honor your father and mother. And he who curses father and mother, let him be put to death. And then so they kind of tweak that, the scribes and the Pharisees tweak that by saying, but you say whoever says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me has been dedicated to the temple, is released from honoring his father or mother. Thus you have made the commandment of God of no effect by your tradition. All right, so it's like they kind of found a loophole that if they put money into the temple, or money set aside for the temple, then they can get away from honoring their father and their mother, which was clearly in violation of God's laws and teachings. All right, and then so he goes on to give another scenario, and then so drop down to verse 10, it says, and he called the multitude and said to them, hear and understand, not what goes into the mouth defiles a man, but what comes out of the mouth, this defiles a man. Then his disciples came and said to him, do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard this saying? And we're going to elaborate this a little bit more in the next segment.